Hi, I'm David Farrell. Welcome to Pod Me If You Can. Today on the show, we're discussing the Gene Hackman, Barbra Streisand, Dennis Quaid movie, All Night Long, from this 5-pack of DVDs.
Pod Me If You Can. Movie reviews.
All Night Long from 1981 stars Gene Hackman as George. Depressed and angry after being passed over for a promotion, he's demoted after throwing his chair through a window to a night manager job doing overnight shifts at UltraSave. At a relative's funeral, he sees Cheryl, Barbra Streisand, who is somebody else's wife, patting his son Frederick, played by Dennis Quaid's, butt. He assumes something is going on and confronts him about it. When George tries to interfere with Cheryl and his son Frederick's relationship, he finds himself falling for Cheryl. Now, the backstory of this film is that Barbra Streisand was paid $4 million to take on this role. Initially, another actress had it, and her agent was dating or married to the director of All Night Long. And the agent persuaded Barbra Streisand to take on this role after another actress wasn't getting along with Gene Hackman. So Barbra Streisand was paid $4 million and became the highest paid actress at the time. When the film was a failure, Barbra Streisand fired her agent, and Gene Hackman and Barbra Streisand have refused to talk about the film since. So the character of George gets demoted and he now works at the UltraSave, and you think this is going to be the kind of film with hijinks taking place overnight in a supermarket with a cast of zany characters. However, all the characters feel like glorified extras, and none of them really have any personality or anything to do. The worst part of this film is when a female robber comes in and attempts to rob the UltraSave, and it has some of the worst choreography for a fight. It's just quite deplorably bad and stands out to me as the worst part of this movie. Unfortunately, they're trying to sell us a love story here where Gene Hackman's character and Barbra Streisand's character both leave their marital partners for each other. And that's never really redeemed here. We never quite find ourselves rooting for them and their relationship. A big part of that is the bad chemistry between Gene Hackman and Barbra Streisand. Gene Hackman's character cares so little about his wife that he signs the divorce papers without ever reading them just to be done with her. It turns out that all the stuff that happens in the UltraSave is ultimately irrelevant in the film because he doesn't stick around, he doesn't have any redemption there as well. He quits that job like he quits his marriage, and that's about the hour point in the film. We watch him spur of the moment leave his marriage and move out. Then he moves out of that place into a warehouse, and it feels like, why did we have the first moving out and then the warehouse part? Like, parts of this film feel like they were an afterthought. Watching this film is like watching Kevin Spacey in American Beauty. He has a midlife crisis, and he goes and works at a fast food outlet. In this situation, George goes and works as a waiter at a singing restaurant. Whereas this film had the potential to be Office Space, or that kind of Rage Against the Machine, man outside the system situation, Gene Hackman ultimately rolls over and does nothing. He's not very likable. And whereas middle-aged men might relate to this story of like chasing your dreams and changing your whole world in a bad marriage, they actually hurt his wife and his son and the employers and the employees and Barbra Streisand's husband. And as I said, they're not really redeemed. Dennis Quaid is quite good as Frederick. He's kind of a stoner and almost doesn't belong in this film, What's great about his character is watching him as a 20-year-old. I'd never seen Dennis Quaid as anything but a father figure in movies, with great films like Frequency. Here, though, one of the major issues is that the father and son, who are both in love with the same woman for part of the film, Cheryl, Barbra Streisand, they have no resolution and no scene where they decide, they're okay with the fact that George wants to date her. But at the end of the film, they're just amicable, which is annoying because you feel like there are missing pieces. I feel like one of the major problems here is that Barbra Streisand stepped into a role that had been vacated by another actress and had to do the best she could with the material. Obviously, nobody was happy with the result, and it definitely shows. All Night Long feels like a waste of time, and nobody's quite doing the work they should be doing.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check out our podcast at www.podmeifyoucan.com.